Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wiley Drake, and I'm on location at San Vicente and Wilshire Boulevard in Brentwood, the high rent district of town. You want to talk about high property values? Check out Brentwood. Check out the average home price in Brentwood. Well, we're right here in the neighborhood at Los Angeles National Veterans Park, and I'm just showing you some footage here. And I want you to know this sign says, "Get off our lawn, open these gates." Now, I want to show you, folks, I'm a veteran. I have a home to live in, but if I didn't and I was on the street, I'm locked out of the Veterans Park. There have been men and women coming here now for a long, long time here on this corner, and I want us to relive, because I'm of the opinion that most of the people that are saying they're for the veterans, most of the people that are saying they want to help the veterans, they say that, but they're not doing anything. One of the men that's doing something is a man by the name of Bob Rosebrock. Bob, welcome, my brother. God bless you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
How many times is this that you've been here now?
Today's 329th straight Sunday rally. As you can see, we're down to a few now, but after 329 Sundays, we've lost some of our older we call ourselves the Old Veterans Guard. I'm 72. We've got a 94-year-old that'll probably be coming out a little later with his wife in a wheelchair. We've lost Steve Palmer. He was 88. He passed away. Newt Young, 85. Dick Breithout, 85. So we've lost these senior veterans that have come out here. And this is not about us. It's about
let's do that. Let's do a little history. I've been out here many times, as you know. We've filmed this. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, "What's it all about?"
Yep.
Bob, give us a little bit of the history. My understanding is a family donated this property, and I want you to tell us the size of it, and I want you to tell us who donated it, why they donated it, and what the circumstances are now. Go ahead.
Very good. Back in 1887, this is now after the Civil War, they needed a home for disabled soldiers, and the cold climate area was too much, so the government had passed an act of Congress in 1887 to locate, establish, and permanently maintain a national home for disabled soldiers. Two families actually together donated about 600 acres. It was interesting. It was U.S. Senator John P. Jones. He was a senator out of Nevada, made his fortune in silver, and then bought massive land here in west Los Angeles, from the coast from Santa Monica on up over. And his partner was Arcadia DeBaker. Her husband had passed away, Colonel DeBaker, so she took over. And together, they donated 600 acres.
Now, this is property that was donated, 600 acres, to be used exclusively for veterans, to help veterans.
Yes.
What is the property as we see it today? There says there's a National Veterans Park here, but the gates are locked. What is the property being used for?
Well, it's being used for quite a bit. Let me explain on the 600 acres. We're down to 388 now. And before, what behind us here is Wilshire Boulevard.
Well, what happened to the acreage? Where did it go? Who took it?
Well, part of it went to this Wilshire Boulevard. Then they built the 405 freeway. Then they took another 60 acres and gave it to the FBI and the General Service Administration in a park over in Westwood. Today, there's about 110 acres that have been illegally used for this. Right behind is a public park. This is not a national park. It's a national home. A national park comes under the Department of the Interior. This is controlled by the Department of Veterans Affairs, but it's really controlled by the wealth and power over here in Brentwood, as you pointed out. One of the wealthiest zip codes in the nation. Look it up, 90049. Wealthy, powerful people. They have Brentwood School, one of the wealthiest private schools in the nation. $30,000 a year for tuition for children. We got no problem with that, but they have 21 acres of our land with an athletic complex off limits to veterans. You've got Schwarzenegger's kids, Spielberg, Stallone, go down the list. They all have children that attended there. Anybody that's got money here, their kids go to this school. And that's fine, but we need this land for homeless veterans. This is the capital for homeless veterans. Even with 388 acres, it's still the biggest VA in the nation, and yet we're the capital for homeless veterans, with some 20,000 homeless veterans here. And you've got UCLA, they've got a stadium over there, 10 acres, close to 10 acres. They pay $5,000 a month. Well, a sharecropper would come in and pay you more than that. This land right here with the 16 acres, you can see back there, there's a fence over there. This land, these agreements, what's called a sharing agreement that they had with the VA, was adjudicated in federal court. There's a lawsuit against the VA for these illegal contracts. And this one, along with the Brentwood School, the UCLA, there are 9 illegal. This one, 16 acres, rent-free. If you could build like this 40-story tower over here, it's $1 billion piece of property, one of the most valuable corners in Los Angeles and perhaps the state of California. But this homeowner group gets it for rent-free for a public park. Even though it was adjudicated in federal court, a federal judgment sent down and said that this agreement is illegal. It's unauthorized by law. The agreement is void. There's some action going on here today.
Yeah.
And even though this judgment came down, they've appealed it to VA, but nevertheless, this group has started construction on an amphitheater, a public amphitheater.
And this is on veterans' property.
Right here, yes.
Right here on veterans' property. Well, let me ask you something. You know, when we hear all the time, we hear Rush Limbaugh, we hear Glenn Beck, we hear Sean Hannity, all saying, we want to stand up for the veterans. Where are they? Have they been out here?
Absolutely not. We have sent them repeatedly. Now, let me just say repeatedly over the last 5-6 years, not one of them has ever responded. Not one. And we, thank God for you, Doctor, that you come out here on a rather frequent basis. You've got to drive up from Orange County 50 miles away. We recently had coverage by the Hughes News Group down in Los Cerritos. LA Times won't even touch this story. There's too much wealth and power. And by the way, Fox, 20th Century Fox has one of the illegal agreements here. They won't touch it. And of course, this is in Henry Waxman's district.
Now, Henry Waxman is the district congressman. And he won't do anything about it.
Thing. In fact, I've challenged him, and I hold it up. He can't prove any different. In nearly 40 years, this is in his district, the biggest VA in the nation, with a capital for homeless veterans. He didn't appropriate $1 for one blanket for one homeless veteran. This is appalling. But yet he gives us arranges to help these people, his wealthy friends, get rent-free $1 billion piece of property. We want to build housing here. What are they doing? They're building an amphitheater. On a list of 1 to 100, 1 being important and 100 being less, that wouldn't even rank 9,000 of importance for veterans. It's clearly off the scale. But yet, there they are. They're inside constructing. And you point out the gate's locked. We want to open this up. We want to bring our homeless veterans in here. We can't do it. We're sleeping out here.
We come out. We've shown footage. We've sent footage to Sean Hannity. We've sent footage to all these guys of, ladies and gentlemen, you can see here now, you see the spots on the sidewalk? Yep. That's where these veterans have slept at night, where they peed on the sidewalk because they're ill, they're post-traumatic stress syndrome, and they camp out here, and they get harassed by the police.
That's right. They get arrested by the police even. It's simply appalling, like you point out there. There's no, this gate should be open. There should be toilets for them. There should be a tent. They should be able to be fed. We should have our young high school, college kids volunteering to take care of the men and women who've defended this country. This is one of the most disgraceful. It's gone beyond illegal what they're doing. These are violations of human rights, and we need to be approaching the United Nations, the Vatican, go down the list. Anybody that's supposedly for human rights. One of the most disgraceful records is right here in Los Angeles in the United States of America.
In one of the high rent districts, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to tell you, I am a veteran. I went to Vietnam twice, and it's appalling to me as a veteran to see men and women who are veterans sleeping on the street. We have a shelter 50 miles from here. We take in homeless, but this ought to be a shelter here. There ought to be a place here. And I want to know, where are the politicians? Where are the Feinsteins and the Boxers and the Waxmans and the other people? Why won't they stand up? And once again, why won't Sean Hannity? Why won't Rush Limbaugh? I'll tell you why. Because they say it's not popular. Their big money friends will cut their money off.
That's right. That's right. This is a big money chain right here. And by the way, let's throw in President Obama.
Amen.
He's the man who stands out there Memorial Day and everything. We have to honor a sacred trust with our veterans. As long as I'm Commander-in-Chief, there will never be a homeless veteran and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? The ACLU, while they get it right once in a while, they did file a lawsuit against Obama's Department of Veterans Affairs, and guess what? Obama's Department of Justice fought that lawsuit that this property is illegal and supposed to be used for veterans. They lost, they turned around and appealed it. How disgraceful for the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Army to fight a lawsuit for the very home that was deeded in their behalf as war-injured veterans. This is disgraceful. It's an international disgrace.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, this is not like something where we, the veterans, or we that are for the veterans, want to take some property away from somebody to be used. This was property that was legally deeded to the veterans, and it's been taken away from them. What a tragedy, and it is a worldwide tragedy. That's why we're worldwide right now. That's why this is going on YouTube. And I want to say, Rush Limbaugh, where are you? Sean Hannity, where are you? Glenn Beck, where are you? And where are you other politicians? Republicans in California, where are you? You're standing up, you say, for the veterans, and yet you're crapping on them right here in Los Angeles, in Brentwood, one of the richest places in our nation. And we need to stand against these bad people that are taking advantage of our veterans. Bob, you said we think there's somewhere around 20 to 30,000 of our veteran brothers and sisters that have, when they go to sleep tonight, they'll sleep on a street or behind a building somewhere. We ought to have a place. We got property here. We ought to have a place for them.
Absolutely right, Doctor. Yeah, like you said, 20 to 30,000, and we were talking earlier about this, when they go out and do a count, well, most veterans, if you've seen the photos, in daytime they sleep out here, and then at nighttime they're afraid of the hazards of the night, so they're awake and they'll ride buses and whatnot. There's no way you can count a veteran. We have a very simple philosophy. If you can count a homeless veteran, you can help a homeless veteran.
That's right.
How do you walk around and say, well, there's one and there's one, without over and reaching your hand out, helping them,
That's right.
bringing them in here? America better wake up, because if you don't, this is setting a very, very poor example. I don't know why any one young man would want to serve in our nation anymore. I mean, you look at what happened in this past decade. We spent over $1 trillion in Iraq, 4,500 fatalities, and hundreds of thousands of permanently injured, and we've essentially lost everything we've done there.
Yeah.
Why would any young man who's bright and intelligent, by the way, the government rejects accepts 2 out of 10 applications. They say only 2 out of 10 are accepted. The others are physically unfit, mentally unfit, have a police record, go down the list. We're taking the 2 best out of the 10, and we are turning them into be trained killers, destroying their minds, and when they come back, there's nobody to take care of them. Nobody.
And they're sleeping on the street, literally.
What are we doing right now? Obama's out there wanting to raise $2 billion for the children that he is forced to come up here for a handout, that, instead of sending them back and putting the pressure on that countries or those countries and telling them to take care of their children. No. Remember when Elian Gonzalez came up?
Yes.
Here? My gosh, his family, his grandparents took care of him. What did our government do then? No, you can't have that. You got to send him back to his communist father. Now they want to bring these kids in a communist country up here. No, we better get our priorities straight. We're losing this country so fast, so fast.
Yeah, amen.
We got a man up there who said he was going to fundamentally transform America. I don't recognize this as a country that you and I raised our hand and said, we're going to defend this for the future.
Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at Los Angeles National Veterans Park, a piece of property, hundreds of acres that were donated to the veterans, and the government, the politicians, and the talk show host and everybody else are not even talking about it. They're not only not talking about it, they're not doing anything about it. Something could be done if a politician really wanted to, but they just don't want to. And so we're saying, the veterans are saying, get off our lawn, open these gates, and Bob's going to show us an article here.
It's a newspaper article came out.
Corruption and cronyism surround the West Los Angeles Veterans Affairs. And certainly that's true. And ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Bob Rosebrock, been here over 300 times, 329 times, Sundays in a row he's been here. I've not been here but a few, but Bob's been here every one of those along with other people. They're here. Stand with them. Call your buddies. Call Rush Limbaugh. Call Hannity. Call those people and say, why are you not talking about the tragedy against our veterans in Los Angeles? What a tragedy this is.
Can I add one more?
Sure, go ahead.
You know, we've been out there, as you pointed out, Doctor, for 329 Sundays. On a week from tomorrow, on July 14th, L.A. County has taken $6 million. That's $3 million of federal money, $2 million of county, and $2 million of city funds to what they say add a lane on the south side of Wilshire. But to do it, they're going to take out where we have protested, and they're going to close us down. That's right, out of the communist handbook. $6 million to close down our protests. As you know, Doctor, I've been falsely arrested out here. You name it. I had my life threatened out here, by the way, by an individual who had won an award from President Obama for being a model citizen. He had a set of keys. He wanted to threaten my life. We had the photos. I got a temporary restraining order. Could not get it enforced because of the politics, the power, and everything around here. It's simply disgusting. Now, the last thing they can do is to spend $6 million to shut us down. It's a landscape project. It's not a transportation road project. We're going to move it back, put a buffer between us and the boulevard.
To block this protest of men and women who are protesting the stealing of veterans' property from the veterans.
Yeah, and this is the United States of America. That's the stuff they do in communist China. And everywhere.
But they're doing it here.
Right here.
Well, Bob, tell our listening audience that are watching this and will see this on YouTube and other places, if they want to get in touch with you, the old guard, how they can do that. Where do they go?
Well, they can send me an email. My personal email is RROSEBROCK with the number 1. That's rrosebrock1@AOL.com. Again, RROSEBROCK number 1@AOL.com, or you can call me on my cell phone, 310-490-6495. Again, 310-490-6495. Folks,
come on board and help us, help Bob and others, help us get this property back for our veterans. Let's get the people on the ball. This should not be happening in the United States of America. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to see this on YouTube later, but go to Bob, email him, call him, be supportive, come out here on Sunday and be a part of protecting our veterans and their property.
Thank you.
Let me get over here in the shade for a minute.